And some of the people that Kat talked about, ironically, I have this issues with those same people.
Tyler. Did you not just say it was wrong, Tyler? To say she was difficult for not doing something that she was not contractually obligated to do? Did you not say that you would feel that that was wrong? Or am I missing something? I absolutely said that, yeah. So
Miss Monique sat down with Shannon Sharpe on his show, Club ShayShay, and she let it all hang out. She did not hold back, and she spoke about a lot of her grievances that she's already technically spoken about over the years. But I just want to briefly touch on what she talked about as far as DL and also the Breakfast Club. Now, Monique had a lot to say about DL Hughley, and he didn't take too kindly to the things that she was alleging regarding his show in his absence. So he almost immediately went on Instagram to respond. Take a listen.
Club ShayShay is getting messier and messier. It's almost like Wendy Williams didn't go anywhere. She just got a weight set. So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it. But apparently she goes on Club ShayShay and tells the story about how she came on my radio show and I wasn't there at the time. And my co-host Jasmine Sanders played a game that we played all the time with everybody called Would You Rather. She apparently was so offended by that she said she got off. She called me. Monique did, and she said I was very dismissive, like, Monique's a liar. When Monique did call me, I heard her complaints. I listened to her, and I pulled the segment. So if I had been as dismissive as she alleges I was, that segment would have aired. It didn't, because I respected her wishes. She's a liar. It's also befuddles the shit out of me how somebody who, as a comedian, talks as much shit about everybody else as she does. She has the temerity to be offended about anything, as much shit as you say about people. Then she encouraged everybody, allegedly it stems from the fact that I used to always talk shit about her on video after video, and she encouraged her sweet babies to look at the video and find them. Do that. Do exactly what she says. And you know what you're not going to find? You're not going to find any evidence of that, because Monique is a fucking liar. She's lying about that. But what you will find is Monique talking shit about some alleged contract dispute we had. Look at the ticket. It says DL Hughley, then Monique. She knows the story. But what she did in response to that, she talked about my dog, my wife. This broad even brought out my daughter's personal trauma. My daughter was molested, and Monique brought that shit out and told the world that I allowed my daughter to be raped in front of me. The lying motherfucker. She knows she was lying. And it only stopped when everybody from my family checked her. I lived next door to a dude, man. He took me to the free clinic. He told me about life. And he also was raping his daughter the whole time and went to jail. So to me, he's always going to be the dude who did. Everybody's do it. How come when people do stuff like this, they're always above reproach? Nobody ever believes them. And then it's always a lot of victims. And it's always, and the reason it hits home to me is because my youngest daughter said something happened to her. And because it was somebody I like, I didn't believe her. And I'll never get that back. She'll never, I'm supposed to protect her. And I'll never get that back that she told her father something and he didn't do nothing about it. Because it was inconvenient. So I could see how that could play.
Right.
And there's so many, everybody wandering around why women are mad and why people are like that. Look at the shit they go through. Yeah. Like when she said on Color Purple, a girl child ain't safe in the family for the men. That's fucking true. And it's just that he is categorically, everybody you ever see is like priests who are above reproach, or coaches who are above reproach.
Right.
Nobody, teacher, they would never. Why are you somebody's boyfriend? I watch y'all with you. And he played on that. And to this date, he's never said he didn't do it. It's interesting. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? You won't ever see her with her family, videos with her children or grandchildren.
There aren't many videos out there with her and her children and I guess her grandchildren, but there are a few that are on her Instagram page with what she said is her grandkids. And you can see her sons also in the pool video.
Because nobody fucks with me. How do you have sweet babies when your own babies don't fuck with you? How do you love us for real when there's no evidence of anybody loving you for real? Except your daddy, who you apparently have to pay. And FYI, daughters are paid for by daddies. not daddies who get paid by their daughters. You know what else you won't see Monique doing? Telling jokes. Monique, if she'd have spent as much time actually writing jokes and writing her Netflix special as she did complaining about not having one, it wouldn't have been trash. It got the worst reviews of any Netflix special in history. Because that's what Monique does. She complains and she has grievances. You never see her being a human being. You never see her being sweet and warm to people. Except when she's using it to butter somebody up to get something. There's a reason why everywhere she goes, shit starts. Everywhere she goes. How is it that nobody fucks with you? Not even your family. How do you... Or I was on the road getting it. I get it every goddamn week. Look at my schedule versus yours. See how much I'm going. And I still manage to have a relationship that I cherish with my children. Can you say the same? You can't. Because all you do is talk about your grievances and who did you wrong. There's a reason you're by yourself. There's a reason you got to pay a man to love you. It's sad. There's an old adage that says you can't buy love. It's a shame, Monique, that you probably always will have to.
Dang, not Wendy catching strays. Crazy how he talked about her weight instead of just addressing the lies, because I don't recall Monique throwing or taking cheap shots. She did address her relationship with her oldest son.
What's your relationship like? Is he resentful of that?
We're still very much separated.
Monique has addressed her relationship with her son in the past on David Banner's podcast.
Time that when he was a little boy, I wasn't interested in being a mother. I was interested in being a star. And I was interested in being famous. And I wasn't interested in being a wife. I was interested in taking pictures and red carpets and signing autographs and traveling the world. So I didn't really put the focus in. And now that I'm 52 and he'll be 30, well, I pay for that. There's a price you have to pay for that. And I had to apologize to my son.
So she did take accountability, which is very commendable. I know sometimes it's hard to admit when we've made mistakes and we've just been flat out wrong on certain things. As far as him saying her not having any jokes, I don't know. I have my own opinions about Monique's comedy and DL's comedy. They're not my faves, but I think Monique is a great actress. And DL himself, I think he's a great actor as well. Monique and her husband went on Instagram to clear up a few things that was said by DL, and she just wanted to take accountability for something that was maybe misunderstood.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We just wanted to take a few minutes to address a couple of things that have taken place after the Club ShayShay interview. Much love to Shannon Sharpe.
Yes.
Good brother. Thank you for allowing Monique to come on the platform, be a listening ear, continue success on what it is that you're doing. Thank you for being a real one.
Yeah, baby. Thank you. Thank you.
We wanted to address first and foremost our brother, DL Hughley. And we are firm believers on what is right and what is wrong. Yes. So we got to start off by saying there was an inaccuracy as it regards Monique saying that there was a cease and desist that was given to DL to shut it down. Mm-hmm. What had taken place, to be accurate, was after Monique spoke to Brother DL on that conversation, Brother DL said, what?
Well, after we spoke on that conversation, when we hung up that phone, the last thing he said was, it is what it is. And I said, DL, then we're going to have to get our attorney involved. That's the last thing me and DL Hughley said on that conversation.
And after having that conversation with Monique, we went and got our attorney involved, Attorney Anderson. At the time, there were some emails that were transferred back and forth between his side and our side, and it escalated to a point when we had our attorney on the email, whereby then finally DL said that he would scratch the interview.
Yes.
So it was inaccurate that a cease and desist had to be given. However, that was the next step, and that's what Monique remembered, because when I discussed it with her, we said that would be the next step. But to DL's credit, At that moment, when it had escalated, that's when he decided to shut it down. However, that is a bit different from how it seemed to have been communicated, whereby on the phone, they were having a conversation and it was kumbaya. Though he never used those words, kumbaya, it did not end with her being under the impression that this was going to be resolved and shut down. So we wanted to make that clear out of love and respect for Brother DL. And despite all the commentary that he gave, with all the crunches she be doing, the captain's in the front.
I do.
And
I do.
Tell him.
I'm a sneak snacker, baby.
And she doesn't sneak when she snacks.
Okay. Hey.
But nonetheless, we wanted to be clear because at the end of the day, we black folks in this world of entertainment. And there was a level of harshness in his return that seemed a little bit exaggerated for the moment. And we wanted to make it clear, and I think Monique can do it best when she speaks in reference to what she meant while talking about DL in the past.
Okay, so now Monique is going to address the claims that DL made about Monique bringing up the allegations regarding his daughter.
You know, when I watched DL say, she went after my wife, she went after my daughters, I want to really be clear who I went after so that there's no confusion here. When I was on stage, when I'm on stage and we are performers, we are performing to the audience in front of us. When I was on that stage and I said it must be hard to perform oral sex.
But differently.
Okay, on a coward. That had nothing to do with Mrs. Hughley. That insult was directed straight to you, DL. That had nothing to do with your wife. That was straight to you. So it felt like you were trying to pass it off as if I was going after your wife. When it comes to your daughter, to the baby that you did a post about, you did an interview about, I didn't do that interview. I simply reposted what you said. So when you say, Monique, you went after my daughter, that's untrue, DL. I posted what you said. And then when you said when you were really going for it with your shades on, and you said, Monique said, I stood by and watched my daughter be raped. DL Hughley, that's your conscience talking to you, brother. I never said that. I never said that. And I want to be a little clear about something else. Never would I try to do anything to harm any of your babies, because we got babies too. So never would I try to do anything to harm your children. However, what I was saying to your daughter and to the other daughters out there, I know what it's like for your daddy to know you've been touched and he not protect you, because my daddy did the same thing. That's what that whole point was. But I was showing why I would call you a coward, brother. I don't think it's brave that you didn't protect your baby. So when I said what I was saying, let me be clear to you, DL Hughley, it had nothing to do in reference to your family, and you know that. Now, when you were speaking and you were going off and you said, what did you say? She was so offended by the game we play, but you didn't say what the offense was. And that's the part for me that is disheartening, that you continue to try to trick and smoke and mirror our people. If you're going to say it all the way through. When you say family is sacred, you are absolutely right, baby. You're right. But when you say would my husband rather, and you co-sign your team of people doing that, well, isn't my husband sacred? So you got to be careful in your words, because the very words you use, DL, they're going to come back, and they're coming back to bite you, baby. And what I also said on Club ShayShay, when I looked in that camera, I said, DL, I love you, brother. And I don't know if you didn't hear that part, but we really do. We love you, brother. And if ever you get courageous enough to want to have a conversation, we're always open to it, because doing that, it shows how our community can get better. When you're wrong, as we have said to you, hey, brother, we apologize on that one.
Yeah, incorrect on the cease and desist. And I want to add one more thing. When you spoke in reference to your daughter being a reason why Monique stopped speaking about it, what you don't even understand, out of love for you, see, you can have a problem with your brother, but you're not going to take it out on the kids. And we respected the fact that she tried to defend you. But
so Monique actually posted the Instagram post that DL's daughter did in defense of him, and she was open to a dialogue with the family to clear up any misunderstandings, which of course is a great thing to take accountability, even though I personally don't think that she should have brought the daughter's trauma into their beef. She could have went after DL in a different way instead of bringing that up, but I do think she wanted to take accountability for that.
We got 3 big ass sons that if we were to think about it in the same way that she thought about it, what would that be? But out of love for you, we're not going to go after your child trying to protect the father that she loves. But one could argue, based upon what you said about yourself, had you exhibited the same type of love and protection for your other daughter that your other daughter tried to exhibit towards you, there never would have been the commentary that you made about yourself. And I liken it to Brother Corey Holcomb, who I don't know, but I got a lot of respect for him because I heard him say something in an interview. He spoke about how Earthquake's son had came to one of his shows, and the young man was hesitant about introducing himself or reintroducing himself because of the rift between his father and himself. And Brother Corey was like, come on, man, no, you come over here and I'm going to give you love, because that was between your father and I. And it made him reconsider the whole thing and reach back out to an old friend. In my humble opinion, that's what real men do. We come from the old school. We're not going to have no problem with your children because we love them and we love you and we want y'all to win. Not at the expense of the community, though, being demeaned in order to get followers. But from the standpoint of if we come together, we're going to win just by default. So at the end of the day, when you get to talking about how Monique is not loved and this and the other, that's your perception. But what I'll say is it is due to the love that we have that we're able to love those that say things that could be construed as hurtful, but we understand that the old saying of hurt people hurt people. So we don't take what you say personally, brother. And again, it's nothing but love. In addition to the fact, I'm Q Sci-Fi. Just like you, except I've been in about 29 going on 30 years. I'm not going to argue with you, frat. Ain't nothing but love. So we wanted to extend that to you and let you know what it is. And again, if you ever want to speak, let's have a real conversation. But people needed to know where the confrontation on stage began, and it was from that day.
It was from that day. And once you own that day, DL, guess what, baby? We'll be good. Now, talking about we're gonna be good.
Talking about we're going to be good and talking about taking ownership.
DL responds again.
All right, I'm taking time to respond to Monique again. She made another greasy-ass video with her daddy. We kind of relitigating some of the stuff she said on Club ShayShay, where she talked about how she was on the show and somebody, they played a game, Would You Rather? And I guess she felt like they insulted her husband's sexuality, which is interesting because she can always talk shit about everybody else's sexuality. But I guess her husband's sacrosanct. He's off limits. But a hit dog will bark unless his mouth is full. But she talked about, well, she didn't actually call her lawyer. Who the fuck would be afraid of your lawyer? Your lawyer, you mean the lawyer that did your contract? That lawyer, the lawyer from the firm of Negro from Ghetto Got Him and Gone, that lawyer? Who the fuck afraid of him? He couldn't get your name right on the ticket. He gonna get it right on a legal document. It didn't happen because we decided it shouldn't happen. You didn't need to, because we respect people. We don't have to do things for clicks. They took it off because you asked me to, because I respected you at the time. You also talked about how I disrespect you on so many platforms. But you have this impeccable memory where you can tell to the degree, well, who did what to you and why and what happened, where you were. But you can't pull up one time on any platform that I said anything about you at all, because you know you're lying. You got that piece of paper and that big ass memory, but you can't pull one up. My biggest mistake is saying yes to you. I should have said no when you couldn't come on my radio show. I should have said no that I wasn't playing those dates with you. As a matter of fact, almost anybody who says yes to you at some point is in this milieu with you. Almost anybody. So I would suggest anybody out there, you can say yes to drugs, but say no to Monique. You talked about how my children, families are off limits. They weren't when you were running across Vegas. I mean, the stage in Detroit. They weren't when you talking shit on social media. When you got your ass whipped and your tickets dropped, then they became off limits. But let's do this. Let's decide that you will treat my children like you treat yours, like you don't know them, invisible, like you have no relationship with them, like you're estranged, like you're unfamiliar, like you don't know them. You also intimated that I was coward. You know what I'd never do? I would never let my woman take care of me. I would never let my woman get evicted from her apartment. I would never let my woman has to ask another man for money. I'd never do that. Can your old man say the same? He loves you. Of course, he got to say that. You claim him on your taxes. He's a dependent. He's sitting there with you right now. And everything. Because it ain't like he does anything else. But you never address the salient point. I said that if you spent as much time writing your Netflix special as you did arguing about getting it, it wouldn't have been trash. It was. I didn't say it. I defy anybody out there. Stop listening to me. Watch it. Read the reviews. Read the reviews. You begged for something. You made valid points that women are underpaid, that they're not valued. That's absolutely right. So you would think that when you got a chance to do something that you could argue for, you'd be up for the challenge, but you shit the bed because you never are ready for it, because all you ever do is complain about what you don't have. You're never ready for the moment because you're always living in the past. I said it. If you spend half of your time doing as opposed to talking about who didn't do for you and what they did for you, you'd be a lot further along. You wouldn't be evicted. You wouldn't be working for your man. You wouldn't be asking other comics for money. So you got all the ingredients. Take that piece of paper that you're running down the list with, and that pen that you got, and that daddy sitting next to you, and do what you can't do what you never do. Write a fucking joke.
This is a lot, y'all. What caught my attention most about DL's post was his caption. It reads, "Let me make this very clear. I started none of this, but you got me F all the way up if you think I'm going to stay silent and not call out a liar. I see what y'all did to Steve and all of them when nobody tried to defend themselves. It's been 2 years since that woman lied on me and disrespected my family. When the internet comes for her, after what she said about my daughter, she stopped all the BS and that was it. I've been minding my own business. Now here we go again. Just because someone lies, manipulates, and gaslights you in a calm voice with terms of endearment doesn't make it true. You had an issue with me when it came to the contract, but before you ever spoke a word to me, you went on stage at a concert in front of a full audience and attacked my wife. But family is sacred. Gaslighting. You had an issue with me, but you brought my daughter's trauma into it to try and hurt me. Now you're saying it wasn't like that. Then why did you publicly apologize? Gaslighting. Every time you speak my name, I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back at you. You don't get to be the aggressor and the victim with me. You speak my name or my family's name, and I'm going to be on your #team DL. Okay, so her calling him a coward must have really struck a nerve, but I will give it to him for at least like trying to defend himself, because the internet, when Kat did his interview, the biggest running consensus is that nobody really negated what was said. And so he's taking this part or this chance to defend himself, even if people don't agree. But I will say he has support in his comment sections from Tiffany Haddish, George Lopez, and let me tell you, the comments even came after them as well. So a lot of people are saying it's childish. They just need to stop. And, you know, that Monique, she got receipts, and a lot of stuff, she is being vindicated. So a lot of people are saying, just give it up. But like I said, at least he is defending himself if he feels like he hasn't done anything wrong. And as far as the whole contract thing, I saw some of that when it was happening. And to me, it seemed like more of a promotion team issue, not necessarily a DL issue, unless I missed something. So her bringing up his children, the trauma with his daughter, it did seem a bit much, because he actually took accountability and talked about it and basically told his truth about what happened. And so for her to use that against him, saying he's a coward, maybe back then in that moment, but for him to even speak on it is like major. So I don't know how I feel about that. But basically, it seemed like they're going to keep going back and forth. I don't know if we need to have a sit down therapy session with them. I don't know if that'll help anything. Please comment below. Please like the video, share the video. Also subscribe to the channel and be sure to hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss any updates. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.